So you have probably heard the advice, be yourself with women, right? Some women told you that. Even some guys probably told you that. And every time you have tried to be yourself, it didn't really work out. And I remember experiencing the same thing a few years ago when I was being the nice guy, when I was being a people pleaser, when I was getting rejected left and right. Even though I'm tall, some people could argue that I'm good looking, I had a good style. Yet I was, this super introverted, very shy kind of guy, and I was getting rejected a lot. And if I would have a date, every single time the woman would put me in the friend zone. I'm not even kidding. This was my reality like 7 years ago, right? And it was pretty nasty because I had this burning desire to meet, connect with women, but I was faced with the reality of like getting rejected a lot. And hearing the advice, be yourself, was very triggering to hear because I tried to be myself and it didn't work out. So in this video, I want to explain to you what it truly means to be yourself. Because what you will see is that there are aspects of yourself that are not really who you really are. And these are your insecurities. These are your fears. These are your shadows. So whenever you feel, for example, approach anxiety, this is not really you. This is a part of you that is being triggered in the moment. Whenever you don't feel good enough, right? Because you have this absolute stunner in front of you, and of course you look at her as like, she's outside of my league. This is not you. This is a part of you. Whenever you feel a little bit of neediness running through your veins and you start acting a little bit weird, right? This is not you. This is a part of you that is being triggered, right? And that's very, very important. I call this aspects of yourself fragmented parts, right? The reason why I call them like this is because there is a specific reason why they are here in your reality at the moment. And because you're not aware of them, meaning that they are subconsciously directing your dating life, because you don't really choose to be needy. It kind of comes like this, right? You get triggered and then you have no other choice but to be feeling needy, feeling anxious, not feeling good enough, all of that, right? And that's why you end up sabotaging every single date or the interaction that you have on the bar, in a club, and blah, blah, blah. Because these fragmented parts of yourself are directing your life without your supervision, right? You have no control over it. So in this video, I'll give you actually a proper game plan here. So stay tuned because you will actually have actionable steps that you can apply in your dating life just after watching this video. Now, let's be clear on what is your authentic self. Yeah? There are 8 qualities. Yeah? 8 embodiment kind of qualities. Yeah? The first one is confidence. You are absolutely secure in yourself. You know who you are. You know what you want. How many men are not embodying this? How many men? It kills me to talk to men that don't even know what they want with women, Oh yeah, maybe I want a relationship, or maybe I want, just a rotation of a few women in my life, or you know what, maybe I want to be single a little bit, and it keeps on changing every week according to how they feel. This is not confidence. Confidence is being absolutely secure in yourself, knowing what you want, and just going after it, right? So that's the first quality that you really have to embody when you are your authentic self. The second one is you're connected. Connected with you, with your feelings, with your emotions, with your thoughts, with your stories, all of that. And also connected with people, and in that case, with women. When you have a woman in front of you, you're able to be empathetic, meaning that if you say something, you can understand how she reacts. right? You're not totally stupid and saying things without caring how she feels, right? You are able to kind of like be in her body almost, right? You can feel how she feels. When you are embodying this quality of your authentic self, you know that you're not caught in some bullshit shadows, insecurities, and fears, right? Third one is you are compassionate, which is connected to empathy, to being connected, because when you are compassionate, in some ways you also feel the other person, right? And you're able to have your heart open as you feel the other person. Because one thing that a lot of men fall into, kind of like a trap, is they think that they have to be the masculine, they have to be the alpha, so they shouldn't be compassionate, they shouldn't be empathetic, they should just be this strong, not giving a fuck kind of guy. But the problem with this is that if you fall into this extreme, it's going to be really hard to create connection with women. I mean, you might be able to have sex, potentially, if the woman is drunk, 5 a.m. after the club is closed, blah, blah, blah. Possible, right? Because you're the tough alpha dude, right? And it looks cool. But when it comes down to building a deep connection, that is not enough. So you will have to face a roadblock if you just focus on being the alpha, right? Which is ultimately fake. If you are just that, it's fake. That's why you need to combine being the alpha, being dangerous, being strong with the softness of the feminine, being able to be compassionate, empathetic, understanding, all of that, right? The fourth quality is, of course, being courageous. Do you have the courage to meet a woman in the street or in the mall or in the bar or in the club? Do you have the courage to speak your truth? Do you have the courage to express a boundary when she's walking all over you? Let's imagine you have a date and she's using her telephone a little bit too much. Are you able to tell her, hey, can you stop using your telephone right now? I'm not using my telephone. I would like to be present with you. Are you able to do that? If you're not able to do that, then there's something missing in you, because it is very natural for every man to be courageous to express his boundary, right? Also, you want to be absolutely clear, which is kind of connected to confidence, because whenever you express yourself with a woman, you want to have an absolute clean intention. You're here because you are attracted to her. Don't give her mixed signals, because if you do that, she will also give you mixed signals. And then it's a never-ending game, right? And that's why the whole red pill theory has emerged in a way. Some men have been cheated on, lied to, experienced gaslighting and blah, blah, blah. And now they start playing games with women. They aren't so clear with women. And in consequence of this, women also reflect that back at them, right? And then it's a never-ending loop, because they play games, women play games, and then it confirms their belief, right? So it's very important that you're clear about your intentions with yourself, but also with women, the woman that you meet in that case. Also, you have to be curious. The guys that don't know what to say to a woman are usually caught in either an insecurity, a fear, or a shadow, right? Which are pretty much the same thing in a way. Whenever you are maybe overthinking or feeling anxious or seeking her validation, of course that you're not going to know what to say, because you're so much like in your brain, you're not really in your body in the present moment, and nothing can come out of this, right? So that's why you feel attracted to learn pickup lines, to learn routines, to learn, technical game, open loops, DHV, hoops, and all of this bullshit, right? Because you're not really embodying your authentic self. You caught in the insecurity, in the fear, and then you seek out advice from the place of fear, from the place of insecurity, from the place of shadow. And then you end up in this weird loop, because every man that learned technical game always leave it at one point. This is the interesting thing. So really understand that it is very natural to feel curious when you're in front of a woman. And if you don't embody that, then you're probably caught here. Also, calmness, right? Whenever you talk to a woman, you have to be calm. You have to be fully relaxed. If you watch some of my videos in the past, you know that I keep on talking about relaxing your entire body. I even gave you some practices in some of my old videos, right? So this is a quality that really represents your authentic self. Whenever you're feeling anxious, too stressed, and all of that, you know that you're caught in the fragmented parts, right? There is an aspect of you that you haven't owned yet, that is still stuck in the past, that is still stuck in the subconscious, right? And you're not being yourself, really. And the last one is being creative. Whenever you interact with a woman, there is an aspect of creativity. In a way, flirting is a quality that emerges from creativity, right? That's why there are so many different ways to flirt with a woman. And everyone has their own way, right? My way of flirting with a woman is pretty dominant, right? I'm very direct, but some people prefer to be very indirect in the way they seduce and flirt, right? And you have to find your own way. And that's why awakening this creativity within yourself, which you have, like all of these qualities that I'm mentioning here, you have within yourself. But because it's overshadowed by your fragmented parts, they're not really emerging when you have an interaction with a woman, when you have a date and all of that, right? So it's really important to understand that these are qualities you can embody, right? And I'll tell you how to embody them, okay? Just give me a few seconds here. And I really want you to write them down, actually. Please write them down so that you have it somewhere and you know that this is kind of like the goal to embody. It doesn't mean that you should always embody that. You're a human being. You're not perfect. So, of course, that sometime you will feel insecure. Still to this day, I can experience insecurities, some fears. It's part of being a human. But the goal, the aim is really to more and more embody that, right? Especially when you meet and date women, yeah? So, step one to start working on becoming your authentic self and still attract women, right? Because the problem here is that yes, you don't attract women and you have tried that being yourself, but the problem is you were not really yourself, you were embodying the fragmented parts of yourself, right? So the first thing we want to do is to kind of like become a scientist and heal those fragmented parts. So the first realization that you really have to understand is that all these insecurities, all these fears, all these shadows are not you, right? So whenever you don't feel good enough, this is not really you. And I know it might feel like it's you so much, right? And that's probably because you almost like blended with the insecurity, right? So it's you, but it's not really you. Like, let me assure you that it's not really you. And when you realize that it isn't you, then you have to get to the root of it. Meaning that when you focus on that insecurity, on this fear, or whatever it is, there is usually a story that led you to believe that you aren't good enough, that led you to feel anxiety every time you're about to meet a woman, or every time you have a date, that led you to overthink when it's time to escalate on a date, invite her home, and blah, 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 right? There is a story behind that. The surface is, yes, anxiety, not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, all of that. But underneath that, there is something that led you to feel and believe that, right? This is usually connected to a childhood experience, either connected with your mom or with your dad or at school. This is usually what comes up, right? So some of the experiences that you could have potentially experienced is bullying. I experienced that. Getting rejected by your first, love. This has came up a lot with my clients when we were doing the internal work to clean that up, right? Also connected a lot with mommy issues, right? Your mom didn't treat you the way you should be treated in your childhood. You didn't receive the love that you needed, among so many other things that I don't need to go into because it's a whole other subject, to be honest. So you have to do the internal work to understand that this is not you. Whenever you feel insecure or whenever you feel a fear, understand that this is not you. This is a part of you, a fragmented part of you. And you can do the internal work to understand the root of it and then to clean that up, to heal it, right? Now, as you do this internal work, I don't want you to just sit at home and do nothing, because that would be completely emotional constipation, to be honest. So it's very important to combine the internal work with the external work, right? With taking action. So while you take action, you have to accept yourself 100%. So this means that you don't aim for perfection in the sense that, okay, I have all these insecurities, I don't feel good enough, I have anxiety, I'm overthinking when I'm on a date, I feel a little bit needy, all of that. Sure, you have that. Accept yourself in that, okay? Because you're not perfect, you're a human being, and it's not because you watch this video that now you're going to be fully transformed. It takes time to heal that, to become your authentic self, yeah? So there's 3 things here for step 2. The first one is, whenever you have an interaction with a woman, I want you to follow your RAS. Yeah, if you watch some of my old videos, you know I keep on talking about this. The reticular activation system. Yeah. So basically, whatever that is in your awareness field, right? Whatever that is in front of you, you focus on that. So what I mean with this is, let's say you have a date with a woman, and she looks absolutely beautiful. Don't stop yourself from telling her that. You're allowed to tell her, damn, you are so fucking beautiful tonight. I love your dress, And then the next thing that is in front of your RAS is, oh, I'm so curious about what she's doing in her life right now. Like, what's going on for her, right? And you go deep into that. And then maybe there is, okay, what is your craziest sexual experience? Maybe you have that in your mind. Maybe you're so curious about this. So you ask her, okay? Which leads me to the second point. Don't hide anything and don't try to convey anything, right? Don't suppress anything. Don't hide, none of this. Whatever that is in front of your awareness field, you're allowed to express it, right? If you're really into her boobs because she has big boobs, compliment them. You can, or make a flirty joke, whatever it is, right? But don't block yourself. You're allowed to be this wild man, right? And last thing is, don't change your state. If you feel sad, accept it. You are sad. All good. If you don't feel good enough right now when you're in front of her, accept it. It's okay. You are not perfect. You're not a human being. You are working towards feeling good enough, sure, but right now you aren't feeling good enough. Accept it. Don't resist this, because the more you resist your inner experience, the more it will amplify. This is the biggest problem. You have trained yourself to not like certain parts of yourself because they don't serve you, of course, right? When you don't feel good enough, it doesn't serve you. When you feel needy, it doesn't serve you. But if you resist that, if you try to fight this, it's going to just amplify and become bigger. So I know it's a little bit tricky because on one hand, you're healing those parts, those fragmented parts. But on the other hand, you have to accept them, right? Especially when they come up in the present moment. So this is a very long-term kind of game, which leads me to step 3. You have to practice non-attachment, faith, and patience. Like, this is not a short-term quick fix, okay? If you want to be attracting women while being your authentic self, it's gonna take a little bit of time. It's easy, it's simple, okay? But it takes time. There are a few traps along the journey, right? But it's possible, yeah? But as long as you are non-attached to the outcome, as long as you have faith and patience, then you're good. You're gonna be good. But you will see that maybe after doing this internal work and practicing deep acceptance, maybe after 1 month you don't have yet results. And that's when you might feel frustrated and all of that. And that's when you have to really be holding on to your faith, be patient. Every single client that have hold on to this kind of work that I'm describing here has gotten results eventually. It's just a matter of time, right? The guys that joined the academy, which is a program that I organize for my clients, all of them are starting to get results after a certain amount of time. Yeah. But you have to have faith, be patient, and practice non-attachment, right? Now there is one last question that I want you to ask yourself. And this is actually a really deep question that I have been practicing for some time now. Let me ask you this. What if it already happened in your mind? Meaning, what if you already can attract women while being your authentic self, which is confident, compassionate, connected, courageous, curious, clear, calm, creative? What if it already happened? What would you do? Right? How would you feel if you knew it already happened in your mind? This is the energy that you want to try to be as much as possible connected with, right? And eventually, as you gradually grow by healing your fragmented parts and accepting yourself in the moment, you will see. You'll get there. I got there with women, and now I have a long-term relationship with my 10 out of 10. She's really I'm so happy to be with such a woman. We have been together for 1 year and a half, and I really wish every single man on this planet to experience the kind of relationship I'm experiencing right now. This is why I'm shooting this kind of video. I want men to experience fulfilling, healthy, and passionate relationships with their ideal woman. This is my mission. I want to help you. If you enjoyed this kind of video, make sure to subscribe. And I also have a free course to help you attract at least one date every week. I lay out the whole framework. So you can click on the link down below. It's in the description. You have it for free. You just have to give me your email. You can unsubscribe from the newsletter if you want. All good. I'm not a spam kind of person. And you really get the whole practices, the every step to at least attract one date every week. Yeah. This is the framework that I used in my life. Thank you for watching. I see you, my brother.